Are live and on the spot.
Yeah, we are.
Lunch Jim and A.Ron begins now. Coming at you
right now. Nothing you can do about it either.
What shall we discuss? So people might be wondering, what the hell have you guys been doing these past 2 weeks?
Nothing.
Jerking it.
Yeah.
If the cameras weren't on in the studio, we were probably jerking it. No, what have we been doing, Jim?
We've been doing a lot of beginning of the year stuff. Like, this is the first time we've gone into a new year really kind of thinking about what we want to do with the new year.
Yeah.
And in the coming year. So we kind of went over like where we stand as of 2014, you know, financially, which is important, but also like content wise, stuff we want to do, and said, okay, let's kind of think of when we can do this stuff.
Right.
And we planned out like our crazy winter schedule. We planned out some of the Game of Thrones stuff.
We are scared that we fucked up, but we are so committed to keeping promises we made to the listeners. We're plunging ahead heedlessly anyway,
with the resolve never to make promises again.
Yeah, I mean, what we got it probably because people would ask us individually, like, "You're going to bring Justified?" And like, "Fuck yeah, we're going to bring back Justified," and you're going to do the Americans, right? Psh, why wouldn't we? It's one of the best shows on television. Better Call Saul. We started with Breaking Bad. How can we not do Better Call Saul? And you just don't, you know, Walking Dead is The Walking Dead. And even though we've jettisoned Hannibal, I mean, that's 4 main podcasts in a week with Lunch with Jim and A.Ron's, with Keeping Up on the Commission podcast, with probably doing a couple Bald Move TVs here and there. That is
not counting. I don't know when your American Horror Story stuff stops.
That's done next week. Thank God.
Okay.
Thank God.
Not counting House of Cards, which is also dropping.
House of Cards is in
the middle of that.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking 60, 70-hour weeks, including weekends gone with House of Cards. And it's going to be an incredible, insane amount of workload. And we're probably going to fall way far behind on some of the business type stuff that we have to do.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the point you're trying to get at kind of is we promise these things individually, but they all happen to kind of hit at the same time.
Yeah. And
we weren't expecting that. And it's caused kind of a minor crisis here, because, like you said, we won't be able to do anything else during that period of time. And that's a good 2-month chunk.
So going forward, when people ask us, are you going to do X, Y, or Z? We're probably going to say, well, we'd like to, but it's just going to depend, because let's say that in the winter time, you know, or in October, that we got Walking Dead and then True Detective and Fargo and The Leftovers would all hit at once. One of those shows is going to have to not be covered.
Yeah, and we can't predict that until we know solid release dates. And even then, like, we get release dates, but things get pushed.
Like Justified we're supposed to be 2 weeks into 2 weeks into Justified right now, which would have meant we would only be doing like there's a point in March, or maybe it's early April, where we're doing like 5 or 6 shows. And Justified starting earlier was going to effectively drag that pain point, you know, a little bit earlier, so we wouldn't be having, but now it slipped 2 weeks for some unknown reason. And
the same with the Americans also slipped.
And we're stuck. So, you know, we're going to try to avoid getting ourselves in that position. And that's one of the early, you know, beginning of the year planning points is, how can we spread this stuff out? How can we avoid putting ourselves in that situation? And, you know, we're also rethinking how we're doing, you know, fundraising.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I think, pretty big changes coming for Bald Move in that regard over the course of the next year. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
We have some ideas about what we want to do. It's just a matter of finding the technical solutions to implement those.
Right. And it's just in case anyone's worried, I think they're going to be seen as very fan friendly.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're already a supporter, you're going to probably be delighted. If
you're like, not thank God this was bullshit. I'm glad it's over.
If you're not a supporter, you're probably going to be very tempted to become one. I hope.
That's the idea.
I hope.
Yeah, that is the idea.
We've also been experimenting with some new technology. Do we want to talk about the recording station first? Do we want to talk about the live watches?
Let's talk about the recording station.
Okay. So one of the annoying things that we've had is that we've got these badass cameras that are capable of doing high def video, but our machines are not capable of encoding 3 or 4 high def streams at once. So if you notice, these views of Jim and I are pretty muddy, especially if you compare it with our studio view. This is a 720 feed. These are actually like standard def 420 feeds.
Yeah, a couple of 480
with
feeds.
some zooming, so it's even shittier.
Yeah.
These cameras are all capable of 1080p, and our bandwidth certainly is capable of it, but our machines are not. So the other thing is, to relieve some of the strain, we have offloaded, like, my computer does all the video encoding and Jim's does all the audio encoding. And as a result, he has to pipe the audio back out to me so I can capture it and send it out in video. Sometimes if you notice there's like a buzz or a whine, it's because of the, what do they call that? The ground loop.
Yeah, there's like some line level thing versus mic level, and we don't quite have that sorted out because we don't have the sound cards. Like, laptops just aren't equipped to take a line level signal in any capacity. So that's what our preamp does, is it converts a lot of that stuff through USB to something we can use. But unfortunately, the way we have to pipe it out of the board to your computer is via the headphone jacks. So
we're going to solve some of the audio, hopefully the video quality, because it's been fun and we've had a lot of fun experimenting with the cameras, but they're not nearly as good as we imagined it. And we've had to make compromises in the lighting and some of the other stuff based on not being able to make that stuff work. So we're going to, we've got some additional funding coming. We're going to spend some on, it's not like a $3,000 cryo cooled system, but it's definitely going to be a beastie machine.
Yeah, we want to, we want the things that are important for what we do: video editing, audio editing, recording and capture, that kind of stuff. And to do that, you just need a beefy processor, lots of RAM, a fast hard drive. Those are the things. We already have the video card. But we bought a video card when they were a steal back in last year sometime. And that's still a really good video card that we're going to use for our gaming stuff if we ever get around to any of that again, which I'd like to, because I'm a big fan. But we're actually going to use this opportunity of building this machine to create some content. I think we're going to do a build video. Where we maybe as a lunch with Jim and A.Ron, I don't know, or maybe a separate thing where we just sit down and build a computer.
It's going to be it's essentially like putting together Legos.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or an erector set, maybe, because you have to use a screwdriver. But it's been a while since I've done one. I don't think I've built a computer in over 5 years. Maybe
last time I built one, I was living downtown Indy, which was.
Do I have your last computer that you built?
No.
Okay.
No, I
that's
built
right. You built a Screamer,
ridiculous gaming machine,
and then sold it for about what you put into it.
Yeah, and I kept the monitor that we're using here in the studio, which is I built a system for 3D gaming at one point.
The monitor that we're using in the studio.
I'm gonna vomit.
Yeah. And there's also that's the studio Kleenex box, and studio camera systems. And the studio whiteboard that has all of our top secret schedule, and our audio, video.
If we had better
quality checklist,
if we had better video feeds, you could read all.
You could actually read that stuff. You could actually read the meticulous scheduling and stuff, but you can't. You can't because the technical limitations. It's terrible. It's terrible. You can also see our acoustic paneling, high-tech acoustic paneling. So all this is to deliver more video content, because we're going to be doing like video skits. If you were with us a couple weeks ago, you saw our lip replacement technology. The VIP forums, on the forums, we actually have a demo of that. We're going to be doing that in The Walking Dead this season. We also going to be trying something that we're calling the Live Watch. And I'm going to flip to that to kind of give you a taste of what that's going to be like. So that is not the Live Watch. There's the Live Watch. So Live Watch is essentially me and Jim sitting watching television with you live. It's going to be live Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be recording them and making them available to members so you can watch it. Because I don't know what the audience for this is yet, or if there even is an audience. But some people have asked us, and we've thought about how to deliver this technology, and hopefully we won't get sued into oblivion. But we want the ability to watch it in real time, to hear our jokes, to hear us gasp and laugh and roll our eyes in real time. We've got the two cameras you see, so you can see both of our faces. We're going to add the actual thing that we're watching. In this case, this is an episode of The Americans. And then
we are getting a cease and desist as we speak.
No,
right
well,
now.
Settle down, FX, because boom, we've got this is what we call our fair use cloak, our fair use overlay. There's going to be no audio, but what this is going to enable you to do is rapidly sync up what you're watching with what you are watching. It's going to provide enough context so that you can watch along with us on your screen and still hear us and see us without actually arguably falling afoul of distributing copyrighted information.
Yeah, I don't think that is watchable.
No, that's the argument we're going to make in case we do get a cease and desist. But since it's a members only thing and it's not something we'll be posting publicly, and we are trying to take steps to make sure people aren't getting ripped off of their intellectual property, we're hoping it doesn't come to that. And we're hoping this is something fun that people are going to do. Now, we're not going to watch all the television like this. It's probably going to be like one a week.
We can't. I mean, there's stuff like, Walking Dead, which then Better Call Saul airs immediately after that when it premieres. So you can't do it.
There's a lot of tension between like the instant cast and the live watch and how many instant casts we can do. But certainly once a week for the big tentpole shows, the Game of Thrones, the Walking Deads, what have you, we're going to be attempting to do this.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. We also came up with some ideas for other content, which we will probably not reveal until after the big rush. We just want to do a lot more fun stuff. I mean, it's great that we do our regular podcasts and stuff, but it's for me anyway become very formulaic over the years, and it's like, well, okay, we're sitting down, we're doing another one of these things. Yeah. And I always have fun recording those, but the day in, day out nature of it becomes tedious at times. So in order to spice that up, we have a lot of content that we're planning on doing that is outside of just, podcasting about TV.
So that's kind of your bugaboo. I don't have that problem, but it's important to keep us both happy. Would you throw on the mic extension or the camera extension to show? Because that's the other thing. This camera angle kind of sucks when it's small and you can't really see our faces if we're doing live watches. So we got these little gooseneck attachments for our mic stands that we can mount the studio cameras right on these bad boys. So you get a nice big frame-filling view of our fat heads.
Oh boy, this is gonna take a minute.
Yeah, this is the behind-the-scenes switch from instant to from live watch to instant cast.
Check out that sweet ass ceiling. Check out
the studio ceiling, baby. By the way, the Q&A app is live and active, so if you guys have any questions or comments on some of the new stuff we got coming down the pike, or how this stuff is going to work, if we can't answer them, we will. The other thing that I'd like to talk about is Bald Move's 5th anniversary. It's our fifth anniversary of operations is coming up in April. Let me go take a look, because we did a Bald Move about page, because you do.
Probably making people sick with this. God damn it!
Here, I'll do the wide. That'd be better off.
There we go.
That's going to look
How's
like
that? Ooh, my mic's getting a little heavy. Do I need to sit up more?
Do you? I don't know. Tell me.
Looks like it's going over my head. I need to angle it down.
March 24th, 2015 is the 5th year anniversary of Bald Move. I feel like we need to do something cool to commemorate it, but I have no idea what that would be.
The problem I didn't realize about this is now I can't see you.
But you're watching.
I'm looking straight at the
we're watching the screen, so that's not going to be a problem.
So it's going to be like Blair Witch Cam, right? Like you switch back to it.
Switch back to the live watch.
Yeah, I think we're good there.
Okay. Woo. Takes a while to switch to the live feed because see. Boom, double Jim. Yep. Double Jim, what does it mean?
It means you're in the Twilight Zone. Yeah, so I think we can even like get away with shrinking down the images a little bit. But this is like, up close and personal.
Because this is still like zoomed 1.6 times or something. So yeah, definitely we could unzoom that. I don't know. You could definitely you can see how shocked you are at what's going on with the video. Yeah. All right. Enough of the mugging, man. I can't take it no more.
All right.
So, god damn, I can't even get away. I can't get away. They're all
just
Jim.
go to the wide shot, man. This camera's gonna be out of commission for a second. Yeah.
And I was trying to switch it to me, but you have my camera.
Yes.
The Cam A, Cam J gets flip flopped when we go to live watch mode.
Yeah, that's gonna be slightly weird too.
Yeah, I'll have to come up with a studio just for that. So that's what's coming down the pike. 2015. There'll be a new fan-friendly way to support us. There'll be some new types of content. The other thing is, like I mentioned the last lunch with Jim and A.Ron, the voting for the Subbable crowd commission podcast, where people can chip in money to get a commission podcast, is underway on the forums, the VIP forums. There's a vote thread that you can go to and actually cast your vote. We talked about this last week. I want to see real quick if anything has changed. I think I was shocked that 7 is such a popular option.
It's an old movie.
I continue to be shocked. Oh, Hannibal got pushed back until summer.
Hannibal did?
Yeah, according to her forums.
Huh.
Of course, it's a disreputable source of information if I've ever seen one. But yeah.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Cool. Well, that helps us out.
Yeah, we might actually get around to Hannibal. Might. If I was making promises, I might have promised there, but I'm not doing that anymore. So let's see what we got. It's top 5 results on a voting thread still. Our 7 is in the lead. No Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men, number 2. Twin Peaks, number 3. The Breakfast Club, another shocker. Number 4. Pulp Fiction, number 5. Princess Bride, catching up. It's number 6, Jim. It was at the bottom of the list last week. So
they're voting it up.
They're voting it up. It's just
as they should.
It's just outside the top 5 now. But what we're going to do, if you've missed all the news posts on that, is we're going to take those top probably 10, convert them to subbable tiers, and then as soon as enough people have backed that particular thing for $10 or whatever, then we will pull it off the board and we will make that thing. I've had a flurry of commissioned podcasts this week. Over the last few weeks. We just watched the Imitation Game the other day. We're going to be recording a podcast on that
this afternoon. Basically immediately after we get done with this.
We've got The Watchmen in the can, ready to be released. It will probably be released today. Imitation Game will be released Monday.
No, I want to release
Imitation Game today, and then Watchmen. Yeah, because it's still out in the theaters. And then The Big Lebowski's next week. We got some cool stuff. Some things I'm really happy to be watching.
Deer Hunter, another movie I've never seen, but have heard really good things about. We got a commission for that too, so
that's a fucked up movie, man.
Yeah, Christopher Walken, I know that.
It's it's going to be interesting. What if we recorded immediately after watching the film, like we usually do? It's going to be a fairly somber podcast, is what I'm predicting.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So,
well, we'll see. That's in the pipe too.
All right. At this point, anybody have any questions or comments, or we want to talk about television? Because there's a lot of new stuff coming out. Parks and Rec just came back. They're burning through 2 of those a week for like the next 7 weeks. I don't understand why. Yeah, I don't understand why they're doing that. But they're coming out on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I just saw the first 2 last night, and they're weird. I don't know if I like them.
How are they different than previous seasons?
So you flash forward like 2 years, which has allowed them to kind of yada yada through Leslie. I don't know if you knew this, but Leslie left the Pawnee as a city councilwoman, and now she works for the National Parks Department.
Okay, I haven't seen Parks and Rec in 3-4 years.
So they flash forward like 2 years, and apparently her and Ben have had kids. Her and Ron had a major falling out immediately after the time jump, and now they're enemies.
How is Ron involved?
You don't know.
Did he go with her? You really don't know.
No, I mean, so Ron left the public sector to enter the private sector, and he's running a contractor company called Very Good Contractors.
Okay, that's a very Ron name, yeah.
Or something like Very Good Materials and Supplies or something like that. And he is trying to win a bid to make use of this public land that Leslie wants to make into a national park. So they are mortal enemies because of some misunderstanding over some, I think it's called like Whirlpool or some project like that.
Okay.
And I don't know, man. The
setting sounds very different.
Yeah, it's they've just basically flipped the table over in the Parks and Rec universe, and you kind of coming in the middle of it. And April and Andy are going through this angst about being almost 30 something, and they're becoming boring, and they've always been these crazy people, and what are we going to do about that? And Tom is a restaurant mogul, but he's a lonely, and that's it.
Okay.
Donna is working for Ron, and I don't know. It's just a weird. It doesn't feel like Parks and Rec.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
And it's still pretty funny. Like they had a class. Like, Councilman Jam.
Yes.
The guy with that's always like, you got jammed. Well, somehow he ended up with Ron's first wife, Tammy, who's played by
girl from
Will and Grace. I forget her name, but also, did you know that the guy who plays Ron Swanson, whose name is Nick Offerman, that's his real life wife.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, they're married.
Oh,
so Tammy 1 is shacked up with Councilman Jam, and she has completely remade Councilman Jam in Tom's image. He's Ron's image. He's got this big mustache. He's wearing like these, kind of Ron shirts and jeans, and all he's allowed to eat is steak and scotch. And it's just destroying his health. His hair is falling because he's like, having the diet of Ron Burgundy is killing this man because he's got like irritable bowel. Not Ron Burgundy, Ron Swanson.
Yeah.
So that's kind of funny. And Tammy 1 versus Ron is always entertaining.
Oh yeah.
But that's, the first 2 episodes kind of fell flat for me.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like a very different show now. I don't know. Another show that came back recently that I haven't got a chance to check out yet is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Probably my favorite comedy on TV. That is in its 10th season now.
Yeah.
And it's scheduled for at least 2 more through 2017.
Wow.
So 12-year run on that show so far.
Yeah.
Is this going to be like a Simpsons sort of deal where they go for 25 years? They're 50 years old and they're still doing these horrible comedies?
I don't know, because that's the thing. Like, I haven't watched The Simpsons in 5 years. Theoretically, I'm still technically a fan, but it's always shocking to me when I'm watching football and they're advertising new Simpsons. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Do a lot of people still watch The Simpsons? Because I'm like you, I haven't watched it in years and years.
No, like not even Halloween. Like I would usually, for the longest time, I'd tune in for the Treehouse of Horror episodes.
Yeah, they usually went all out for those.
I haven't seen a Simpsons episode in forever. I hear it's still okay, but it's been on for 25 years or something ridiculous like that. So I don't know. To me, you can make those shows as long as they're entertaining and people watch them.
Yeah.
I'm just, again, amazed that there's not more people watching, or there's still enough people watch they're watching The Simpsons that justify it. South Park is kind of similarly long run, but it continues to be fresh. So
yeah, I still know a lot of people who watch South Park all the time.
Right here is one of them.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dan Gordon says, I've not seen Americans Are Justified. If I had to marathon one before the new coverage, which would you say is priority?
Well, I doubt you'll have time to get through Justified before the new coverage. But we just released a preview and it's Tuesday night.
Yeah. Yeah. The first show is this Tuesday. You still got a week
5 seasons
and a half of the Americans. But you could always do my recommendation, which is to watch the second season of Justified. And then be ready to roll some punches early. But because this is probably more connected than most seasons.
Yeah.
Because it's now the culmination of the arch good guy and the arch kind of bad guy. And their inevitable face-off. But the second season is so good and so self-contained and will get you a very good introduction to who Raylan is, the hero, who Boyd is, the Crows, the Bennetts, the Crowders, and the Givens, and those families in this holler in Kentucky and what all that means, and Raylan's relationship with his ex-wife. It's pretty much all there. So if you wanted to just... but And who's to say which is more entertaining? If we get another season 2 of Justified, then hands down, watch Justified. If
I'm going to say go with the Americans, just because there's less of it. It's easier to get through before it starts up. You have more time.
Yeah.
Like you can get through 2 seasons of a show in a week and a half if you need to.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I like the Americans a lot. I mean, we talked a little bit before you had finished out the season. And have you finished the season yet, or is that something on your to-do list?
Finished season 1. I'm moving on to season 2.
Oh, you did finish season 1. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because we did not. We talked about it, but we talked about it before you had finished it. Mm-hmm. You were still like 4 episodes or so from the ending. I think that show's really good. I haven't seen season 2. I'm gonna blitz through that this weekend to get ready.
Everyone says season 2 is even better.
I know, and I like season 1 quite a bit.
Right. Which I'm intrigued, especially when I hear people talk about how effective they make use of the children, which is something that vexes a lot of really good television shows. Mm-hmm. So I'm eager to get on that and see then how they move it on to season 3. Did you hear that NBC is? I just read this on Grantland today that they're making essentially The Americans remixed. Like they're doing a Russian spies in America in the 80s television show, kind of like, you know how Pan Am or the Playboy Club was a sort of a Mad Men ripoff?
Yeah.
That NBC did. This is like a direct ripoff of The Americans.
Weird. Okay.
I'm kind of curious of watching it just from a train wreck perspective.
Rip off a more popular show, right? Like rip off The Walking Dead, rip off Game of Thrones. Don't rip off a show that's getting 2 million views a week.
I'm surprised no one besides Sci-Fi has tried to rip off The Walking Dead. And even Sci-Fi didn't really rip it off. They just went full Sci-Fi mode with it.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing that's preventing a CB or an ABC or an NBC from doing a Walking Dead.
No.
So I don't know. That's my recommendation. He also, Dan said, I absolutely love Always Sunny. Danny DeVito gets weirder and better the older he gets. How old? That guy's like in his 70s now.
That episode where he sews himself into the couch is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, Danny DeVito has no shame.
No.
That man will do anything.
Who has more shame? Bryan Cranston or Danny DeVito?
Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston has more shame than Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito will slide out of a couch butt-ass naked and waddle his way down a hallway.
You don't think Bryan Cranston would do that?
Bryan Cranston,
70-year-old Bryan Cranston.
I have never seen Bryan Cranston's ass. We'll say that. Maybe it's in Malcolm in the Middle. I haven't watched all of that.
I'm pretty sure we've seen his ass.
You say
no, like that happened in the Fugue State episode of Breaking Bad. I'm pretty sure he's bare ass naked, and you see.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
His ass.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
They have an equal amount of shame. I think Danny DeVito is the short, fat version of Bryan Cranston.
That's the thing. Danny DeVito's physical comedy starts when he walks in the door.
It does. It does.
His fucking hair, his face, his physical statue. He's essentially a peach pit on toothpicks. He's 70 years old.
70 years old. God, he is
5 foot tall. He is 5 foot tall from the floor to the tip of his head.
Nice.
Incredible.
Yeah, he's a genius. I love Danny DeVito. Like I started out not liking him all that much when he was doing, buddy comedies with Arnold Schwarzenegger and stuff. He was okay, but as he's gotten older, yeah, man, he's just gotten weird with it.
Interesting, because there's something in his biography where it says his spouse is Rhea Perlman, famously.
Okay.
But on his Google summary page, it says that she's a spouse until 2012 and then partner from 2012 on.
Did they get a divorce? Still live together or something?
I don't know.
Interesting.
I can't find anything. That might just be a weird Google thing. So no, here it goes. They separated in October 2012 after 30 years of marriage and over 40 years together. However, in March 2013, it's reported they had reconciled and called off the separation. So there you go. How do you get divorced when you're 70? Like if you put up with 40 years of each other's shit, I feel like it's much easier to just continue on doing that than to split things up. But what the hell do I know?
Well, if you're Danny DeVito in It's Always Sunny, you get a box of Magnum condoms, a wad of hundreds, and you just go plow. That's what he would do.
I wonder.
Oh man,
I wonder how he would do on the open market.
In the open market?
Yeah, I mean Jack Nicholson. He's
got a lot of money.
He does a lot of money. He's a funny guy too. Yeah, that goes a long way.
Sure.
Man, he actually kind of looks cool in this Wikipedia picture. Because you usually see him with the hair. He'd be a very good Ben Franklin.
Yeah, he probably would.
Yeah, I have awesome. no idea how to share this with people.
You could put it in XSplit as an image.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open
or
this
a tab.
Up. Can you keep people entertained while I'm struggling with this?
No, I can't.
God damn it!
Sorry, people, letting you down. What other TVs come out? We got some release dates. We got some release dates for Game of Thrones.
Hit me with it. It's pretty much what we thought, right?
It's a couple. Yeah, it's like a week off.
Really?
Season 5 release date. It's going to be April 12th, 9 p.m.
Oh, that's like 2 weeks after it normally comes out.
Yeah.
Which, does that help or hurt us? I don't know. Feels like it'll help us if it slipped by the exact same amount that Justified did.
I think so. Let me go to our calendar because I adjusted some of these things. April. Yeah, Mad Men was a week later than we thought it was going to be too. So it doesn't help that much. Mad Men's coming back.
That's
March
fine.
5th.
I mean, we're almost out of silly season by the time that comes around, so I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, I mean,
current pick, Danny DeVito. There he goes. Patron saint of bald move.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He'd be a fucking awesome Ben Franklin. Yeah. All right. I'm enough admiring Danny DeVito.
Should stick him up in the corner of the screen or something.
What else we got?
There's some other release dates announced, but can't seem to find them.
You play anything cool lately?
No.
Video game wise?
No. I got some stuff I want to play, but no time to play it. Some of the stuff we talked about at the beginning that we're doing new in this year is requiring a lot of work up front, and been working on that a little bit. Trying the daily stuff. Despite not having released a ton of stuff in the last couple of weeks, we've actually recorded quite a bit and done quite a big groundwork to get ready for things that we're recording. Do we want to talk about
the baldies?
Don't say that word. Don't say that word on air because people will start calling it that.
Yes, this is one thing I want to talk about. Right. What do we call the bald move community? Because it feels like by default, people are calling it, like people that listen to the podcast, the baldies, right? And when anyone refers to like an award show, it's the baldies.
Don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't really care, but I don't like it.
I don't know why.
That's not what I would choose to call it.
I don't know why. And ultimately, it's up to the people to decide.
Yes.
It's like you can't force Trekkies or Trekkers. They have to.
Yeah, I don't think the proles would have probably chosen that name for themselves.
So my idea was to call everyone Rikers.
Yep.
Because Riker's he's the number one.
Sure.
Yeah. And you could have the Riker Awards or the Picards. Obviously, bald move is an elaborate Star Trek joke. It turns out. Yeah,
I'm not sure I totally want to go with that theme, but
I like it. We're both big Trek nerds.
Yeah. But Star Trek doesn't say anything about what we do necessarily.
We could call them the Jimmies.
The Jimmies.
Yeah, just give it. Just name it after you.
No.
And if a show,
the Jimmies,
and if a show just squandered your Jimmy chances, we could say they just rustled their Jimmies. It's worth it for that alone.
All right,
man.
We'll call it the Baldies.
The Baldies? Okay.
No, we don't want to call it the Baldies, but we want to do an award show. Not an award show per se. It's not going to be like, oh, we've got categories and nominations and all that stuff. What we're going to do is take our top 10 list. We're going to both assemble those individually.
Got mine. I'm ready.
And then we're going to come together and we're going to say, okay, let's make a top 10 list for bald move.
Yeah.
Not for us personally.
And we're going to film and record this whole process.
Yep. We're going to say, we're going to sit down. We're going to take our list and argue about which ones need to be in that.
Which is interesting because I don't think the fans have heard us argue like genuinely argue about things much because we're mostly in agreement with things.
Yeah, a lot of the time we agree.
Even it might get a little crazy.
Even when we don't, you know, we don't want it to devolve into like, oh, well, nitpicking and name calling and shouting match on the podcast. That's silly.
I think,
and we don't do any shouting matches usually.
Are we gonna go there with this though?
I don't know.
Whatever happens on
you
this. Put something stupid on your top 10 list, I have to call you out.
Same for you.
There you go.
You try to put Masters of Sex on your top 10, I'm going to call you out.
As a man who's seen 1 episode.
As a man who's seen 4 episodes for you.
You saw 4 episodes?
For you.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. You try to put a show you haven't seen on your top 10 list, you're going to get called out.
Arguably, I didn't see more than 4 episodes because of you. But no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't even do that because that's one of my hardcore.
Like I can't put Homeland on mine.
I cannot put a show on the list if I haven't seen the entirety of its season.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's the thing. This is not going to be the best of 2014. This is going to be our favorite.
Yeah.
Of 2014.
Right.
So anybody who says, "Oh, well, True Detective is clearly better than Mad Men or whatever," we'll say, "Too bad."
Yeah.
Too bad. It's our list. It's our favorites. It's not the best.
Actually, before you went on this tirade, this rant, I selected someone's question to answer.
You did?
So it's completely in the wrong spot now, video wise.
Perfect.
But Chris Chambers said, "I'm catching up on the Americans. I didn't watch season 2. Is never sunshine and lollipops, but it seems like season 2 is taking an extra dark turn. Am I misremembering season 1?"
I haven't seen season 2. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't.
What extra dark looks like.
I'm in the same boat. I didn't think season 1 was particularly. I mean, it's kind of fucked up the nature of their relationship and some of the things, especially early on in the season before, you know, like one of the most fucked up things still is I think in the second episode where the husband, what's his name? Paul? It's not Paul.
I don't know.
We need to get these names down.
Yeah.
But he's listening to a tape of his wife boning some other dude.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell it's like getting to him. That's just really fucked up. So
sure, but he's got to listen for his job, right? Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
he's listening to her spy information.
If you involve children in that mix, and I can't help but think that it's going to get darker. So Philip, that's it, not Paul. Philip. Let's see who else we got. Wes Stevens. Oh man, did either of you ever see Treme? And what did you think of it? Or how did you think of it after how amazing The Wire was?
Never saw it.
Not seen it.
Not a single episode.
I will see it though. It's one of those things on my list. I don't know, because the problem is they keep inventing more great television.
Yeah.
And I always prioritize things that are currently out that I can conceivably catch up on and watch over things that are complete. Like I've been wanting to finish the final season of Deadwood for like almost 2 years now. And every time I get to sit down and watch it, I find out like Banshee's coming back. So I want to marathon Banshee, or like the stuff I've marathoned in the last since December 1 is I've seen almost the entirety of Banshee, season 1 of The Americans.
Mm-hmm.
I finished Penny Dreadful.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't get a chance to watch that.
I think it's right up your alley, man.
Yeah, I know. And I love Timothy Dalton, and I've said that before the podcast. So I want to watch it, and I feel like I should watch it before the awards stuff we do. We're trying to do the awards thing soon because it becomes less relevant as we move into the year. But
yeah,
but I there are some notable exceptions. The Americans is going to be taken care of this weekend, so I will be able to judge that. Penny Dreadful is another one that I really kind of want to see to judge. I don't know. There are just various other shows like The Nick I should have probably watched. I didn't.
Yeah.
There are going to be some probably notable exceptions in our list just because we haven't seen all the TV that came out in 2014. So,
let's see. Oh boy, what do you think of the Oscar nominations? I read a little about this morning. Birdman, Grand Budapest Hotel, and American Sniper leading the pack. Grand Budapest Hotel is a fantastic comedy if you haven't seen it. Definitely, you know, anything Wes Anderson is going to make my list. I haven't seen it yet. Traditionally, January and February is when the Oscar list comes out. I start, you know, cramming through everything. I try to watch every Oscar nominated film before the Oscars come out so I can have an opinion on it. Last year, I did a great job. This year, I don't know, because now is the time that I should be like getting a lot of these things knocked out. but I have so much television to watch. And as we mentioned, February and March are going to be nightmares. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get maybe one or two. I really want to see Selma. I really want to see Birdman. The big surprise was Selma got, like, other than I think original screenplay and best picture, it got kind of shut out.
I have not heard anything about Selma. I don't know what it is.
The O guy that plays Martin Luther King Jr. Did not get nominated for a acting Oscar. The director did not get.
Yeah, I saw a preview for that.
Yeah. Okay. And a lot of people are making it out to be like, well, it was too little too late. Like, the movie came out a week ago and they had a press blitz, but you know, the way the Oscars work is it's a very limited number of people voting on it, and they have to see it and form an opinion and all that before. So you just can't. Then they cited several reasons why it didn't get more buzz. And of course, I haven't seen it, so I don't have an opinion. I saw a lot of angles about maybe it's racist, but 12 Years a Slave swept everything last year. Got a lot of Oscar stuff last year. So it's I don't think the Academy is certainly more racist than Baseline America. But
no, I mean, some things in those scenarios fall through the cracks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've only got a limited amount of time, and stuff that comes out too close is going to just not get considered at all.
We've talked about this before. You're not excited at all about the Michael Keaton's Birdman.
Fuck no. I'm looking at a picture of Birdman right now. It's fucking stupid.
Bill Simmons and Chuck Klosterman said it's their favorite movie. I don't think that's the fucking movie, man.
I know it's not, but how does a man fight crime in that costume? Tell me that.
How does Batman fight crime?
Batman doesn't have this honking schnoz blocking half of his peripheral vision. Like, he doesn't have to cross his eyes to go.
I mean, it's a comic book character. Like, there is like a real life comic book character named Hawkman who has a fucking hawk for a face, and he fights crime just fine. Thank you very much. He's got his hammer and he flies around.
His wings, are his wings for show or are his wings functional?
I haven't seen the movie. I just think this is classic Jim. You have isolated one particular thing you saw in the movie poster, and you will never see the movie because you can't get over that.
Yeah, no, I have no desire to see Ant-Man. It's another superhero movie that his wings are functional. Okay, he flies in behind Michael Keaton here.
I'm surprised American Sniper got as much love as it did, because there's been a lot of stuff in the last few weeks about how that story's not all it's cracked up to be.
American Sniper? What's that? Well, I can guess what it's about, but
it's about the most successful sniper in U.S. military history that served over in the Iraq and Afghanistan conflicts. And if reports are to be believed, he also shot several people during the Katrina disaster that he set up and shot looters and whatnot to help protect people's homes, or because he hunts men for sport.
Oh,
have you seen any of this stuff come out?
He was shooting looters, or he was just shooting people for fun?
He's shooting looters.
I mean, yeah, you probably shouldn't shoot looters. I don't think that's a crime worthy of death. But
he claimed to shoot like 38 people in the 2 weeks after Katrina, or at least that's the report I saw. And I'm like, that can't be true. Like, 38 dead bodies with their heads blown off, or shots like their chest exploded. I think that would be like a major murder investigation. Even if it turns out they're all looters and all that. It's like, so the guy kind of comes across as crazy. I've seen a lot of stuff he said that's like super racist. I don't know. And sometimes that stuff like really blows up in your face come Oscar time.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. That's the Bradley Cooper vehicle, and it's the one where it's like this guy tearfully calling his wife in the middle of a sniper engagement saying he wants to come home. That's the commercial they've been playing. I don't know. That might be definitely one I'm not prioritizing.
Yeah, no desire to see that. I have very little desire to see movies in theaters these days. Like, there's so much I haven't seen in the back catalog. Unless something truly exceptional comes along, I'm not going to the theater to see it, honestly.
You know, Paul Thomas Anderson just released a new movie called Inherent Vice. Any interest in that? So the first one he's come out, I think it's the first one since The Master.
Well, I really like The Master a lot.
It's got Joaquin Phoenix coming back.
Oh yeah, this is one of those slacker noir movies, right?
Right. I actually thought it was like another David O. Russell, because it kind of looked like in his wheelhouse, but it's Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, sounds cool. I don't know that I'm going to go to the theater for it, but I'll definitely see it when it shows up on Netflix. How about that?
Joaquin Phoenix, Josh Brolin, Reese Witherspoon.
Or HBO, rather.
Benicio del Toro's in it. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I think that was the last one in the master. I really like that. Again, anytime the cults are involved, I'm in. That's it, I think, for Lunch with Jim and A.Ron, unless you got something else you want to talk about. We'll be back next week, or maybe the week after. I'm not sure what our schedule. I think next week's potentially pretty tight because we got some technology stuff we got to work through for this new membership stuff we're doing. But we will have at least one commission podcast out today and another one out the next week, and we'll have Breaking Bad coming back. We'll have the first episode of Justified, the live watch of Justified at, I believe, 10 p.m. on this Tuesday. We're going to probably post a link for that in the forums, the VIP forums, for anyone that wants to check that out. And until then, I never had it. I know never had indies.
Yeah, we don't really do our
lunch is over. Get the fuck out.
See you guys.
We'll just throw up the logo.
Yep.
And then mute the mics.